Got to put up my logo. Sorry. Okay, I forget which button is the logo. There we go. That's the one.
I hit the live.
Okay, that's okay. Start the music. Start the music. Hello and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, as you can see by my little title card below me, Charlie the Professor Esser. And with me, as always, is the hero, the veritable cape himself of the Capes and Lunatics Network.
Phil me and Perich.
Yeah, that's your cue, Phil. There we go.
Or live long enough to see yourself become a podcaster.
Yes, well, hey, you know what? Batman should have a podcast. He would probably do more good for Gotham.
Why'd you say that name?
Batman or podcaster?
Sorry, I just on
the No, we just always say, "Why'd you say that name?"
Yeah, this is like a hair trigger now.
It's set. So, hey, guess what, kids? You missed it. Our YouTube exclusive.
Unless you're on our YouTube, that's right.
Yeah, you should be subscribed. Hit the little bell. Because you're seeing, now, for you in the know, you're seeing this like, yeah, of course I'm on YouTube. That's where I watch you guys every night. It's every Friday night at 7 o'clock. It's awesome.
But
me and my family, we gather around and gain the wisdom.
But if you're listening to the podcast, you missed our YouTube exclusive where we talked about the Disney Fox deal.
Yes. So, you know what? You should feel bad about that. You should feel sad. But I am not a cruel parent. My son didn't make honor roll, but I told him, look, I'm going to say you didn't make honor roll, but I want you to try harder. Your brother made honor roll. He gets a little more, but I'm still going to keep you in the loop because I expect you to make honor roll next week. So there are a couple items we did not get to talk about yesterday because the news was so fresh. One of the things I wanted to talk about is with our new single currency Marvel Universe.
Bitcoin?
No, Bitcoin's. That's such a scam. Don't even get me started on that. Because here's what I'll tell you. Every time someone tells me about how cryptocurrencies are unhackable, I think of the Titanic.
Nothing's unhackable.
Well, exactly. That's my thing. It's like, look, I'm not a computer nerd. I'm going to wager it's probably real difficult to hack it. But I think there's a lot of people way smarter than me who, when you say it's unhackable, basically said, oh, really now?
Oh, yeah. You're throwing the gauntlet. You're slapping somebody in the face with that glove.
Well, exactly. Because, right here's the thing I'll tell you right now about Bitcoin. The series, it's a numerical sequence. It has to have a progressive logarithm so that it can be traced. Once you can create that, what keeps you from counterfeiting it? And creating a false paper trail within the system. Basically, if you hack the system, then the entire cryptocurrency is broken because, all you need to do is track where the money went, and you can suddenly start printing the money, and you can print 50 copies of the same Bitcoin, and you won't have a way to actually trace where it was, so long as you trace it back to the original server. So, basically, yeah. And that's just me as an idiot. Hacking it, If I actually knew what the heck I was doing, I'd be a billionaire right now before it was all worthless and I went to jail.
I don't know. I'm just always like, is it even worth anything when it's like you can't walk into Walmart and spend that?
No, what it is cryptocurrencies are based on black market value. Now, granted, this is totally off topic here. And Phil didn't know. I didn't know we're talking cryptocurrency. It's not in the notes.
I just yelled Bitcoin. I know. I got to watch what I say.
Yeah. So here's the thing: the underground economy is estimated to be a few $1 billion, give or take, which means that is essentially where Bitcoins exist. Now, there are parts of the underground economy that isn't going to be there, which is basically sublegal transactions, which basically when you hire a guy to do work on your yard and you don't pay taxes, that's the sublegal economy. It's not legal to do that, but people do it, but they're still being paid in cash. Where Bitcoin exists is for drugs, bootlegging, prostitution, that whole thing. It's a way to exchange finances semi-secretly. Although, of course, as people point out, actually, if you really just sat, which is the first thing that tells you that Bitcoin is going to collapse, is another group of nerds said, well, actually, it's actually, you could track back exactly who spent the money where and how, because it all has to be traceable. And they created their own Bitcoin thing that is, they say, is fully untraceable. To which I say,
poppycock.
Well, because here's what I'll tell you, it's either untraceable or it's unhackable. I don't think you can do both. It's your Heisenberg uncertainty. You can know where it is or you can know how fast it's going, but you can't know both. Because the second you know one, you open up the door to let someone else do the other. Because if something's truly untraceable, it's going to be impossible to trace it back to prove that the version you have is not a counterfeit.
It's Schrodinger's Bitcoin. You don't know if it's real until you go to spend it.
Exactly. But that's why we don't deal in cryptocurrencies. We deal in, monies backed by the full faith and trust of various governments and the noble banking institutions who supply their transit, who offer safe passage for our money. God bless you, little logo.
Anyway,
okay.
On topic. All right. So
the thing we didn't talk about.
I was gonna say there's a few things you said you forgot to mention yesterday about this.
Yes. So the biggest thing is the Wolverine reboot, because you've got this amazing inroad to cast a new actor as Young Man Logan, set in World War II. Teaming up with either Steve Rogers or Peggy Carter, however you want to play it.
Or both.
Or both, hey. Maybe even Logan trying to make time with Peggy. I don't think Peggy's going to go for Logan.
It's like a... it takes place somewhere in the timeline of First Avenger, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that idea of this Canadian Special Forces guy named James.
Oh.
Jimmy Howlett.
That's a good idea.
Because he knows who he is still,
Yeah, that's a good idea, bub.
Yeah, exactly. And you do that story of Jimmy Howlett and also you know what else this means. Marvel has adamantium.
Yes. Yeah, because
boy, that vibranium shield doesn't look nearly as cool anymore.
He can have the adamantium vibranium mix again. Yes!
He could.
Cap, yes.
Yeah, they may even say, well, it's always been adamantium. We had to, vibranium you had to mix with certain qualities to.
Because they even mentioned adamantium in the last episode of The Gifted, so it's definitely in play on, like...
Well, The Gifted has adamantium.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So all the Fox movies and TV shows, they were playing with adamantium, so yeah, it's definitely...
But the saddest part of this merger? You know whose heart is truly breaking? Whose heart leapt and then fell?
Is this what you were saying before?
No. Deadpool runs in looking for his best buddy, Spider-Man. He looks around and he's nowhere. Because Marvel doesn't actually own Spider-Man. Sony still does. And like a Montague and a Capulet, he is forbidden to play with Deadpool. And I just want a moment there in the new Deadpool where he's just like, I was so hoping I'd get to meet him. Just something, it's like, oh. But no.
I don't know.
Unrequited love.
Do you think Deadpool's coming in looking for Spider-Man? Like, oh, I missed this guy who I've never met before. Is he going to be like, where's this jerk who's trying to steal my
I mean, it all depends on how they play it.
This low rent guy who, he thinks he has my sense of humor. He's nothing.
Yeah, well, like I said, it all depends on how they play it. But to me, that's like the most tragic story of the Marvel Disney merger, is that Deadpool and Spider-Man can never know true love. They will always be kept apart. And Ryan Reynolds, he's a smart guy. He's going to pick up on that soon. He's going to go, and you're going to see a lot of posts by him. about how sad Deadpool is.
Oh, he already. I think it was him. He already put up a picture of Deadpool getting let out of Disneyland in handcuffs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, because you can't actually blow the Matterhorn. But I'm bummed. Thank you. Um, Speaking of which, I did read Despicable Deadpool this week.
Oh, nice.
Just do a nice little transition in there.
What did you think?
It was nice. It was nice. Cop out of Deadpool at the end of the universe being killed, and
Mm-hmm.
and
Cable.
Oh yeah, Cable at the end of the universe being killed. And Cable being mad that Deadpool's the one who kills him. And for what it's worth, Cable not listening to himself about Deadpool isn't our friend. And it just reminds you of the scorpion and the frog, or the scorpion and the turtle, or the scorpion in whatever story you want to hit, or the lady and the snake. Aesop kind of retread this ground a lot. He kind of, not a very original writer for a guy back in the 1400s BC. About how Deadpool's nature is that how you catching my cold? You're digital.
No,
must be a computer virus.
I had cold first, but no. Do you think maybe that just? Yeah, I know Deadpool's all that scorpion who stings the what is it? Whoever carries him across the lake because it's in his nature. But do you think? Yeah. I mean, Cable's been working with Deadpool off and on for probably at least 10 years now, or a little more. Maybe he even though there's no evidence why he should, Cable trust him, especially as a mutant. Cable's heard people he cares about, the world saying, "Oh, don't trust them. They're dangerous. They're these evil mutants."
But this is actually himself saying it. So and you can also see that he's actually very mad about how it all played out,
and it's all
the fact that he doesn't get to see the heat death of the universe.
But always with time travel, it's like, is that the actual future, or is that a possible future?
Well, I mean, the second Deadpool makes a choice, there's 1,000 others where he didn't. So there's 1,000 universes where Cable does see the heat death of the universe. It's an infinite number. Every second that passes, there's another infinite number. The moment they entered into that universe, there was there was 1,000 others where they didn't. And he does get to view that last thing. The problem is that when you're in the past, you never really know that your consciousness is the one that gets to experience it. And because, as a mutant, he is probably very self-deprecating. I'm sure Cable figures, and of course, I'll be the one who actually gets his guts cut out by Deadpool, which of course is true. He will be, but he will be the other guy as well. Mm-hmm. That's the thing about divergent timelines. But I digress. Here's a question to you. How long has Cable been in the Despicable Deadpool?
Since they started this storyline when they did Marvel Legacy.
Do you think the term Despicable is intentional?
Maybe.
Yeah. I was noticing that when I was typing that in. I was like, wait, the word Cable's in there. God, that's a silly superhero name.
Well, I think they're kind of hinting that he's going darker now again.
Yeah. Well, because he is despicable.
Plus the young kids like Despicable Me. Come on.
Oh, see, and here I'm thinking that's despicable. I'm thinking Sylvester the Cat.
Hey, that too.
Or Daffy Duck. I don't know who said it first. They both said it. Lisps and the word despicable was a favorite of good old Mel Blanc. But so I thought it was great. I thought it was a neat book. Mm-hmm. I don't know, because I'm coming in kind of halfway through, I don't know why they need Cable's heart. Well, I mean, they say why, because
before this whole Marvel Legacy thing, even Deadpool's daughter and like the family she was living with were dying. And, I think that's, what was it?
I remember that. That Strife gave him the cure.
Yeah, and Strife gave him the cure, and he says, I'm going to call in a favor. I'm going to ask you to kill some people. And then, first name on his list, he goes, I need you to kill Cable. So, yeah, that's why they need Cable's heart.
Yeah. But again, couldn't he have killed any Cable?
That's what you would think, unless Strife has a way to No, hey, no, this is an alternate. I don't know.
Actually, no, they cover that because Cable says, no, I want it to be a cable that when you kill him isn't going to affect the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But of course, as we just said, you can't actually affect the timeline. You can only create one timeline, and any cable you attack is going to do it. Because there's another timeline where 2 minutes after that, some X-Man showed up. Because I started reading X-Men 2099.
No.
I didn't get to finish it though yet. But you know, and says Cable, we need only you can help us. Old man Cable being brought in for one last fight, and what you find out is Cable never gets to see the heat death of the universe. And do you know why? Because Franklin Richards doesn't let the heat death of the universe happen.
Ooh.
Because the last time we saw adult Franklin, it was after the heat death of the universe, or during the heat death of the universe, and he was keeping the universe alive through the force of his being Franklin Richards. Because he's magic. You watch, they're going to reveal in the final, in some episode of Fantastic Four or Marvel 2-in-1 when Franklin and Valeria come back, that actually Franklin's going to turn around and says, actually, I've never been Franklin. I've always been Stanley Excelsior.
Hey,
I created this all.
Marvel 2-in-1 #1 comes out this Wednesday.
I hope I have money by then. Gotta have like $40 in comic books just waiting for me that I haven't been able to get yet. So
I can borrow a copy.
Yeah, I can borrow a copy. I want to buy these things. I don't know if I put it on my poll yet or not. I think I told them.
Mm-hmm.
But they also may be like, this guy hasn't been here in weeks. Should we still be pulling it? But they may say, no, Charlie is our good customer. He always buys his books, and I do. But, you know, we'll see what happens.
So you said you started X-Men Blue 17?
Yeah, basically, I got to the point where they say, why are you X-Men always traveling in time?
But yeah, it's because the young X-Men from the past have been working with Magneto. They discover he has this time machine. I guess he's been working on a way to get them back to their original time. But remember, when they went back before, there was already X-Men there or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if
because their timeline doesn't exist because the universe ended.
Well, now I don't know if it was the writer. Someone was saying, there might be more than that meets the eye. Because supposedly, I don't know if they're going to meet the Xavier of their time, and he's going to have some answers, not all of them, but
yeah.
So they're bouncing around until they meet their Xavier, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, with adult Jean Grey coming back, I don't know if they're shipping them back or.
I don't know. Who knows anymore? Honestly, this is why I don't read X-books. Yeah, it's like, who knows what those guys are up to?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'm going to say. I'll say this about the mutants. It was lazy writing on Stanley's part from the start. He didn't want to think of an origin. What if they just had powers? What if I just didn't go through that trouble? And then he came up with this whole idea. It's like, well, but what if people feared and hated them?
Yeah, but
did all that stuff.
Wasn't it? I don't know if it was in the '60s, but I think it wasn't in the '70s or '80s. They said oh yeah, if if one of the parents was exposed to enough radiation, you could have a mutant child, like Reed and Sue Richards. And now it's just like a random mutation, basically. Evolution.
I mean that's something. There's two kinds of. There are random mutations. The X gene existed in human, and they touch on this with the First Class film, which is this idea that once humanity started nuclear testing, because of the ambient radiation in the air, the number of awakened X genes increased exponentially. So before you used to get like 1 or 2 random mutants. Now you're getting thousands of them born every year. And, for what it's worth, I mean, that's an aspect of it. But obviously there have been mutants since long before massive nuclear radiation was a thing. But in the end, what I say, it was lazy writing on the part of Stanley. And once you create this, get out of jail free card of mutants, suddenly it's like you can create mutants like plastic forks. For those who've ever read the Plastic Forks miniseries about if humans were disposable, how dangerous that would be for society. It was I believe that was a Eclipse or not Eclipse, Epic. I think it was in the Epic line.
But like even like not to change the subject too much, but I saw a headline yesterday, today I think about, here's what Stan Lee thinks about the Disney Fox merger. I'm thinking, okay, is this do you really think he's going to have a negative opinion about?
No, he's like, that's great. Has he had a negative opinion about anything? I mean, honestly, I think. Well, no, I think he might have had a negative opinion about the Josh Trank Fantastic Four. Did he have a cameo in that?
I blocked that out of my mind.
I actually don't think he does.
That should tell you something.
Yeah, well, you know what? And I think because I think he did say, well, they really pulled away too much from this one.
Yeah, I can't remember. I saw it that one time when it first came out, and then I was like, never again.
I don't remember there being one. So I mean, well, I have to look it up. Was Stan Lee and Josh Tranks' X-Men or Fantastic Four? Oh, you know what's weird? Is all of this like accusations about who's the X-Men guy who does the movies?
Oh, Bryan Singer, is that it?
Bryan Singer. They took him off of the X-Men movies like after the third one because of those accusations.
Was he even on? Was he on 3?
No, they took him off of 3 because of the accusations.
Oh yeah.
So it was like weird to me that, oh wow, these old accusations are coming back. I'm sure Arnold Schwarzenegger's feeling a little nervous right now. But
I think people know about Schwarzenegger.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I mean, it can come back and hurt him now. But I mean, I don't think his political career is going anywhere anyway.
No, I don't think he's doing any more politics. And honestly, I mean, how old's Arnold now? I don't know how much more acting he's going to do either.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always someone who wants to pay him to come and sit and smoke a cigar and talk in a German accent,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, it's a living. Yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, yes. So what were we talking about? We got really off on X-Men. X-Men 2099.
Yeah, but
time travel, Marvel, DC, Marvel, Disney, Fox.
I was gonna say, if you want to switch to another comic, I'm dying to know what you think about Daredevil 596, Mayor Fisk.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love the fact that Daredevil is such a hiker in it, where he doesn't realize all the cops are after him. It's like, dude, you just busted up the mayor's office.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think they're not looking for you? And doesn't even think, I'll use my super hearing to hear what they're chasing. Nope, I'll just go and help them because I'm a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out that apparently Blind Spot has his eyes back.
Yeah, the hand.
Oh, the hand gave him his eyes?
And they're Mystic crap, yeah.
Oh, good for the hand. Everyone always says such bad things about
Well, they wanted to use him as like a weapon and use him to get the Deadpool.
To Deadpool?
Oh, not Deadpool. I'm sorry, Daredevil.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, wait, who wants to get the... Why does the hand want anything to do with Deadpool?
No.
Okay, so that's cool. So he's got eyes again, and it was great. But so here's my big question: does Fisk know Matt Murdock is Daredevil? He does.
Wait, what?
Does Fisk know Matt Murdock?
No. Because remember the whole thing with the Purple Man's kids and stuff.
I know that
everybody's memory got wiped except for Foggy Nelson. That was it.
But that doesn't mean that Fisk couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, if Fisk could put 2 and 2 together again, it could figure it out again. But yeah, right now he doesn't know. Even Elektra doesn't remember Matt Murdock and Daredevil are the same person. She remembers dating them both, but not that they're the same person.
Yeah. These people are so bad with
You know why? Because they had to put the genie back in the bottle. Because who outed Matt Murdock? Bendis.
But you know what? Maybe it's not the worst thing. You know, one thing we can say about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that secret identities are kind of stupid.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at the Defenders. Look at the Defenders. Matt Murdock's the only one running around with a scarf on his head.
And he looks like an idiot. You know? That's why he's the George.
No.
The George is like, my worlds are colliding.
You're killing independent Matt.
Exactly. But so here's my prediction for Daredevil is that Fisk knows. Fisk is totally knows. And that's why he's offering Matt. Because not for nothing. Oh, I'm going to take this random DA, make him my deputy mayor. Nah. That is Fisk.
I mean, you might be right, but I think they're writing it right now it's just like he's trying to score some. Fisk is trying to score points with the public, and you're taking on a handicapped DA. Cha-ching. Matt just went and successfully argued a case in front of the Supreme Court.
And you know what? But isn't it convenient how Fisk fixed everything very quickly? Because he got Daredevil to come to his office, smash things. Then he gets to turn him into public enemy number 1. Then calls Matt Murdock to come be his best friend. Fisk knows.
Yeah, Fisk knows. You think that if they're painting Fisk like, Lex Luthor with the kryptonite ring, he's like, yeah, guess what, buddy? You can't come within like 500 yards of me, or guess I have the whole city of New York, the cops, everything behind me. You can't come near me.
No, what he actually is going to do is he's going to convince Matt that he's not as bad as he thinks. He's gonna be the classic devil, and he's gonna be like, Matt, I know what you think, and I know where you think I've been, and I'm not going to deny about where I've been. What I am going to tell you is I care about the city, and I want to do what's right for the city. This isn't when Osborn ran things. Because Osborn didn't care.
I don't think Fisk cares if Daredevil knows. I mean, he might, now that he doesn't know who he is, he might try to convince Matt Murdock he's a good guy, but I don't think he cares what Daredevil thinks.
Well, see, but I'm convinced that Fisk knows.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I think, either way, I think he's just like, he doesn't care what Daredevil thinks. He just wants to say, hey, the whole rest of the city thinks I'm a great guy. You're the only one who knows.
He's not a great guy,
and you can't do jack about it. Well, I think he's.
I think Fisk. See, I think taking from the Netflix series, I think Fisk has embraced villainy in a way that very few villains ever do.
Well, Daredevil season 3, didn't they say D'Onofrio's coming back as Wilson Fisk?
He better.
I wonder if they're going to do a Born Again where Fisk finds out who he is.
Well, we're going to have to see. It's not that hard. Of all the superhero secret identities, Daredevil's is probably the worst kept.
Yeah, but I mean,
not the least of which because it actually has been revealed several times. I mean, even Peter Parker actually at least, I don't know Spider-Man, I just take his picture. Whereas, Daredevil is showing up, interfering with people associated with Matt Murdock's cases. It's a very poorly kept secret identity. And, I like the red suit. So I'm actually endorsing the return of Daredevil. Because it's not like he really has a family. He has Foggy. That's the whole of his family.
Are you talking comic books or Netflix?
In comic books and Netflix.
Well, I was going to say Netflix, he has Karen too, but in the comics, he basically just has Foggy.
But these are people who practice superhero law. It's like, I know Daredevil. And maybe you should think about that before you try to take me hostage and kill me. Not for nothing. That's like the thing that like superheroes. I have to protect my family. It's like maybe I should be more protective of your family if everyone knew. And they're like, don't mess with that person. That's Spider-Man's aunt. Don't mess with Spider-Man's aunt.
You should read some of Mark Waid's run on Daredevil. It was great because, like, you know, he always had Matt like playing with, you know, half the world thought he was Daredevil, and he was like, no, I'm not Daredevil, Wayne, because even like they had an office Christmas party and Matt came in a t-shirt that says, I am not Daredevil.
Yeah, well, it's a very poorly kept secret identity. In a world of secret identities, it's poorly kept. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's why I wondered why they even put the secret identity back. I was like, I just figured, why didn't they just run with it? You know, half the world believing he was Daredevil and the other half not believing. You know.
You know what's amazing is that no one's ever made Tony Stark go back.
Well, here's what I'm wondering.
You know,
here's what I'm wondering: if they put Daredevil, Matt Murdock's identity back, because in the Netflix show he has a secret identity, but in the MCU, even at the end of the first Iron Man movie, Tony Stark comes out. So,
yeah, well, I mean but I mean, Tony Stark had been out for a while before the Iron Man movie came out,
and that's like the modern Tony Stark. I mean, he really doesn't have any family, and that's like modern Tony Stark. He's like, I don't give a crap, you know, I ain't hiding who I am. This is who I am, baby, you know.
Yeah. Well, he's already lost and made his fortune and back like 6 times. Which is why it's great to be a super genius. Because all you have to do is just invent some new thing. And now here's all my money back.
But I mean, I
missed you money.
But that's like modern Tony Stark. Even though it's still him, he's not going to hide behind this separate identity. He's going to be like, hey, man, I saved this bus full of kids. Hey, it was me in that armor, man.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, but he's in it. My thing is I think that Fisk knows, and I think that once you establish this idea that Fisk knows, it makes the story a much more interesting take. It's much more interesting when the villain knows the secret identity.
Oh yeah.
If you think back to that first Sam Raimi Spider-Man, when you see the wheels turning in the Goblin's head. And he realizes that Tobey Maguire is really Spider-Man. That is a great scene, and that defines that relationship in such a powerful way.
Well, I thought it was pretty suspenseful, you know, back in the day in the comics when they first introduced Eddie Brock Venom, because he knew who Peter Parker was.
Yeah.
And he didn't set off the spider sense. So, I mean, he could be waiting right around the corner, and Spider-Man would never know.
And you know what's great about these items where people know their secret identity is none of them publicize it. And you see this again in the movies. The Vulture knows Spider-Man's secret identity. Just got no idea. And you know why? Because it's more powerful if he's the only one who has it.
Well, yeah, that's like the old cliche in the comics too, when they find out the identity and they don't release it because they're like, I don't want to release it because I don't want anyone else killing you. You're mine to kill.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Although, what was it? I think it was a Flash comic where someone unmasks Flash and he looks at him and says, I have no idea who this guy is. I think it was a Wally West Flash book, but I remember reading it. Just, you know, the idea.
Maybe. For the first I think like 200 issues of Wally's Flash run, for most of his run, most of the public knew Wally West was the Flash, and then like Jeff Johns used the Spectre to like erase the world's memory.
It was probably the other Flash, but Max Headrooming on me.
I was gonna say I see your ceiling.
Totally Max Headroom right now. I have no idea if that.
You're cutting in and out.
Well, see, I don't. Oh, you're cutting in and out too. See, that's the question, and we'll know when we listen to the podcast who was actually Max Headrooming and who wasn't. Because it's happened both ways, where I think I'm fine and you're cutting out, and you think you're fine and I'm cutting out. Yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see when we listen. That's the fun of the podcast, is they get to find out who really had the bad connection.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you just fine.
Good. All right, let's jump before we run out of time. Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider 11. What did you think?
It was okay. I mean, it was not as Death is fun. And I gotta tell you, with the way they're playing Death, someone has to bring up the fact that he's an ad sales guy from Iowa. I want Death to make an actual statement about that at some point. I want Death to actually stop being a sexy lady and just be a schlumpy dude from Iowa.
Yeah, but along that point, why don't you take it to its extreme? And Death's like, I'm like a cosmic aspect. I'm not male or female. I can be whatever I want.
Well, yeah, well, exactly. You can, and that's the thing. But I have noticed that since that moment, Death has become much more personable. Since an actual person became Death has become a lot more personable. It's still Death. It's still a cosmic entity that's existed for millennia.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like her to call it out and say, well, I did die once. That was actually a very interesting moment in my life. That was cool. But then I came back and it was actually this, ad sales guy from Iowa. Beyonder did it. Good old Frank. He was cool. Because he's the guy that actually convinced the Beyonder to kill Death. Because he says to the cosmic entities, you have no idea what Death is. So don't tell us he can't destroy Death. Because you don't live with it. It's a great moment. And then he realizes, oh, shoot, they were right. Death actually does have a place because everything sucks without Death. Secret Wars 2, the best thing ever. Right up there with Superman 3.
And what did you think about Ben Reilly getting Deadpool face if he does bad stuff?
I liked it better when they did it in the Fantastic Four. Yeah. It is. It's cool. But like I said, Death's just being. First off, here's what I'm going to tell you. That's probably not Death. It's probably going to be revealed that it's the Stranger or someone else.
Oh yeah.
Because it's going to be like, what? You really thought Death was appearing to you, Ben Reilly, to just be your personal? It's like, what are you, a 20-year-old white girl from New York, in Ugg boots that you think the universe is just telling you something?
I was gonna say, just because he's had interest in Spider-Man, maybe going after Scarlet Spider, maybe it's Mephisto, but I don't know, because we got Blackheart and Falcon.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Speaking of, and you know what I loved about that? Was the Patriot making a comment about, we're in a completely different genre now. It's like, I came here to fight gangs, and now we're fighting pan-dimensional demons. And Falcon's like, hey, you got to roll with it, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're up against. We don't just walk away because like, no, I'm sorry, I don't do demons. Like, no, And that's what we got, Brother Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
I want a Brother Voodoo movie now, so bad.
I'm sure. They need to do like a Justice League Dark version, like a Marvel version with like Brother Voodoo, Damian Hellstorm, Doctor Strange. Who else?
Yeah.
Throw Man-Thing in there.
Blade, Man-Thing, Howard the Duck,
Ghost Rider.
They own them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm all for. I don't know if you got to go. First, I've never understood what Justice League Dark was supposed to be.
Well, basically, they wanted to do all those Mystic heroes, but then they thought, hey, we'll sell more if we slap Justice League on it.
Yeah, and Dark, because Marvel was doing that with their Dark Avengers. But the Dark Avengers were actually the Dark Avengers.
Yes.
And they were actually, it actually had meaning. As always, it has meaning when Marvel does it.
Well, Justice League for the branding, and then Dark for it's
to steal from Marvel. To steal from Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, it's fine. You want to do a superhero team of mystical characters? That's fine, but
Hey, if Warner's wants to steal something now, they're gonna have to acquire some stuff,
No one's been stopping Warner's. That's the thing. No one's ever been stopping Warner's. No one has ever stopped Warner's. Warner's just didn't want to take risks or write stories. So,
do you ever think the day is going to come where Disney's going to say, "Hey, Warner's, we'll take everything DC off your hands"?
I don't think. First off, I think Fox is like their last big purchase, and that's what I wanted to talk about. Why they bought Fox. And it was something that made this, and they mentioned it earlier. It's like, oh, now Disney basically owns Hulu.
Oh, yeah. I did see that today, yeah.
Yeah, because they own 60% of Hulu. And you know what's going to happen next? Everybody else who owns a piece of Hulu is going to sell it to Disney. Because when they all agreed to do Hulu, it was Fox, CBS, I think it was CBS, Fox, NBC. But basically, they all got like an equal share. The three networks that got into it, they all got ABC. I think it's ABC, NBC, and Fox. So I think CBS says, no, we're going to do our own thing.
So now Hulu's
going to Star Trek.
So now Hulu's going to become Disney's streaming service that they
it's basically about. And basically they don't need Netflix anymore.
Yeah. Well, Disney said they were going to do their own streaming service, so I guess that's what Netflix is going to become.
Yeah, and now they have
Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu is now Disney Hulu. Dizlu. It's Desi-Lu. They're going to call it Desi-Lu.
Mickey don't play, people.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. But the thing is that when they created Hulu, all of the networks that got involved had an equal share. Because each network was supposed to be, because that way no network would have the dominance of it. And now all of a sudden, Fox ABC is one thing, and they have the dominance of it. And it doesn't violate FCC regulations because it's not broadcast. And Ajit Pai just said stuff over the internet, we can't regulate that stuff. So basically, Disney gets a free ride right now.
Hostile takeover. The mouse does not play games.
Yeah, and they're going to take over. So now they have Hulu. They have their own streaming service and a streaming service with commercials. They got it on both ends. It's brilliant. As a tactical move, it is brilliant. And totally upends whatever Fox was trying to do. Which goes to show you that this, who's Iger? Basically, they're like saying, yeah, Iger is not going to retire again. Keeps on delaying his retirement. And it's like,
oh, yeah, he's building up his...
The guy plays like six-dimensional chess.
He's building up his retirement portfolio.
Dang, Skippy. Oh, man, this guy is going to be freaking Bill Gates when he retires.
He's
going to be like, let's cure a couple diseases. Let's get rid of polio. Let's get rid of malaria. Yeah, what the heck?
His great-grandkids are going to be like, we don't have to work.
Oh, no, because he's going to spend it all on charity. Modern-day billionaires, they don't even expect their kids to have a plan to live by. We understand. These are individuals. They know, we maybe like 60, 70, 100 years at best on this planet. No, let's just do what we can to just, maybe if we're lucky, our grandkids will have a planet. That's our gift to our grandkids.
What? Destruction of the planet is a gift?
No, not destroying the planet is the gift.
Oh, okay.
So better to spend $1 billion now and leave your grandkids with maybe, a couple paltry 100,000 seed money. But they have a planet.
And I made a lot of money in Atlantic City, and I'm very proud of it.
He lost a lot of money in Atlantic City. He actually got sued over it.
Fake news! Fake news!
Yeah, he generates a lot of fake news. I know. What is it? Ted Nelms fake news broadcast. Did you see that recently?
Wait, what?
It's the lead-in for The Daily Show, or at least it was last week. It's called Fake News with Ted Nelms.
No, I didn't see that.
Yes. So basically, Ed Helms has created a character, Ted Nelms, and he does the fake news. And it's a brilliant has this between that Daily Show, your classic, and then what I think is just fantastic, which is the is it the Minority Report or the new Jordan Klepper's report? Yeah, it is beautiful. It is burlesque and satire and fantastic, and it is wonderful. I think they've really hit a golden era there. But and that's Viacom. That has nothing to do with any of this stuff.
But no, I I mean, we'll have to wrap up soon, but I think the best joke of the week I saw online was, I guess, Seth Meyers was talking about Roy Moore. And he goes, of course, Roy Moore rides a horse. He was like, I need to pick a mode of transportation. What do 14-year-old girls like? Horses.
I'm so glad that guy's not in the Senate. Not that it's, like...
I've heard so many people say, but like, politicians used to resign if you even accused them of this back in the day. Now it's like,
well, yeah, because Donald Trump said, no, I'm not.
You pulled the Trump maneuver. I didn't do anything wrong. Nothing ever happened. I asked their parents' permission.
It's the Shaggy defense. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Bathroom floor.
Yeah, wasn't me. So but there we go. Good old Shaggy.
Before we go, one last thing. You said you read Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Oh yes. No, I'm sorry. The book I read was called Bizarro and the Outlaws. but I guess Red Hood's in it too. Although I gotta be honest with you, I can't keep any of these Robins straight.
It's Robin number 2, Jason Todd. That's the Red Hood.
Okay, and Tim Drake
the one the Joker beat to death. That's Red Hood.
Okay. Because there's a reason about, like, is Tim Drake going evil? I'm like, I don't know. Aren't they all already evil? I don't know. No, I liked it. I'm wondering what's going on with Bizarro. Because they actually, they're that last scene in it, they give a really nice thing of that sort of upward shot of like Bizarro looking totally evil.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder if, rather than doing flowers for Bizarro, what they're going to be doing is sort of this idea that Bizarro has his intellect, but it's going to turn him evil. Maybe. Because intellect causes a separation from humanity. And because he doesn't have a grounding of a past with humans, and the only way that he's going to be able to get it back, and they're going to do Superman 3, man, fighting a junkyard. Dumb Bizarro versus Smart Bizarro. And Dumb Bizarro got heart. And he's going to win because he's got friends who's going to help him.
Smart Bizarro could be going evil because, who jacked up his intellect? Lex Luthor. He might have been like, exactly. Yeah, I just gave him I gave him like a part of a copy of my brain. And, Red Hood's going to be like, what?
Yeah, but that's what you're going to find out is that is what they're going to do is brains make you evil. And...
Not necessarily. You necessarily don't need a brain to be evil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you don't need a brain to be destructive. I think you really need to know what you're doing to be evil. But, final thought: I saw a meme recently of Batman or Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark arguing at a party about like what's better, the Iron Man suit or the Bat suit, and then T'Challa's there and he says, yes, wouldn't it be great if someone invented a suit that gave you both super speed, super strength, and stealth abilities? By the way, I invented one, but that's none of my business. And then he drinks his champagne. So T'Challa drinking champagne, saying that's none of my business. That's our new Kermit the Frog drinking tea. Okay. That's enough for this week, kids. This is supposed to be a half-hour podcast. We went way over. Phil, how can people find you to talk to you about how long this show goes and why can't you shut that idiot Charlie up? His voice is obviously dying. Tell him for his own good to shut up.
If you want to discuss the Bitcoin millionaire Charlie Esser with me, you could always we always bring it back around. You can email me nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. Sometimes I live tweet, especially when the DC CW shows are on. But if you want to discuss anything with the Capes and Lunatics or hear us talk about anything, email us capesandlunatics@gmail.com and our voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
And of course, if you ever like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our Moz Impossible, instead do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., except, I might be able to do it tonight. Starts at 9 now. at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. And watch this space for YouTube exclusives from the Caves and Lunatics Network. It's not just me. Lilith is there. Tyler's there. Phil is always there. Might get some Luca stuff. You know you love Luca. He's a Toxic Gamer 13's arch nemesis, but you know. Till next time, kids. Please, super connect with us again. Good night.
Arch nemesis. That's gonna be this podcast is gonna go for generations. You know, super connectivity in like 30, 40 years is gonna be Luca and Tristan.
Yeah, I hope so, man. That's my dream. That's what I'm building this empire for. Although you can see, I'm the only one that is just trying to create these feuds among us all. My super villain brain. That's what turns me evil. I'm so smart.
The children are our future.